People don't believe me nowadays, but being social and speaking used to be like my biggest nightmare ever.
Alright, what is up guys? I want to learn to speak in front of a camera. I'm super bad at this, so maybe I'm gonna show this in some years.
In this video I want to share with you my 7-year transformation. But not only that, I will also tell you my 4 biggest learnings when it comes to true self-esteem. Those 4 combined literally make up my entire system to develop core confidence. My goal for you with this video is that 1, you realize that it is possible for you to become confident no matter how shy you may feel now, and 2, that you have a proper system on how to actually get there. So without further ado, let's get started right at the beginning of my journey in 2016, which was my last year of school. I was 18 at that time, and as I said before, I was super shy. Every time I had to speak in front of my class, it seemed impossible, and like when it comes to girls, it was even worse. I actually remember one example, which was that we had to do a project together with one other person at class, and I actually had a girl as my partner for that project. And literally the whole half hour that we had to do that project, I was just like feeling super nervous. It was just a project for school, you know, but I was like super nervous, and I just let her do all the work. She was like, okay, what do you think about this? I was like, yeah, let's do that, you know. Literally, I couldn't say anything at all. I just felt so unconfident all of the time back then. But somehow, in the last year of school, I still had managed to get a girlfriend. I was super unconfident, but, you know, I guess I was still cute back then. You can imagine how long the attraction actually held. I was super depressed back then. All I was doing was really to play video games. That's all I wanted to do. I was skipping like 2 full days of class each week. And yeah, obviously like fast forward 10 months and she broke up with me, right? Like I don't blame her at all nowadays. Just didn't have any fire inside of me, you know? And I remember crying for 2 full weeks straight, every single day for a few hours each day. You know, I remember a very specific example where I was literally taking a shower and I was just like crying for 1 hour while taking a shower, thinking like I will never be able to find a girl again. This was my one shot at a good looking girl, but that's it for me. And it was actually very depressing. But the worst part hadn't even happened yet, because 2 months later, like 2 months after the breakup, she actually got together with my best friend at the time. And you can imagine what that did to me back then. I was completely heartbroken and I felt dead inside. But what's certain is that I never wanted to see them again, like neither of them. So I moved out of the town where I was living to Munich. And quickly that sadness and apathy that I was experiencing turned into anger though. I hated them so much and I was like, you know what, those of bitch. I'm going to show them. I'm going to become way more successful than both of them. And that right there was actually the tipping point for me, which was actually, funny enough, around 2017, like the first week of 2017. And yeah, that was the tipping point. That's pretty much when my personal development journey started. Looking back now, was that good motivation? Not at all. I was like literally fueled by anger. It's not optimal at all, of course. It's actually quite toxic. Being motivated by anger and hate, but it's actually way better than what I experienced before, which was just apathy, depression. And actually, we already got to the first learning, which is adversity is actually good, not bad. Good times are awesome and to be enjoyed, but bad times, times of adversity, are the ones that actually make us grow. Without bad times, there is no growth. When facing adversity, our mindset needs to be to use it to learn, to grow, to get better and not bitter. Honestly, all you need to remember about this is that adversity equals growth. And when facing adversity, you need to get better and not bitter. In my case, had that event not happened, that event of adversity with my ex, I would probably have continued to just be depressed, to play video games, to not change anything at all about where I was going. So actually that event, in retrospective, is the best thing that could have happened to me. So yeah, really keep that in mind. Adversity is good. So yeah, as I said before, I wanted to change, I wanted to grow, I wanted to become confident. But the truth is, I didn't really know how to do that, like at all. My biggest belief back then was that looking good is actually the most important thing when it came to confidence. So what I did is, one, of course, I stopped playing video games. That wasn't helping. But two, I got super into fashion. At the same time, very funny story, I also started to dance. Why did I do that? In the beginning, it was because my ex actually really liked men who could dance. So that was literally my motivation. In the beginning, I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to be the best dancer out there. I'm gonna show her how attractive I am. Hey girl. So yeah, also that year, 2017, around the middle of the year, I started to study engineering, and that's pretty much all I did for that year, to be honest. After that traumatic event happened, I decided to change. I got super into fashion, I started to dance, and I went to uni. I started also posting pictures about fashion on Instagram. That was kind of what I thought I wanted to do.
I have kind of a vision to be an Instagram influencer about style, because I'm really into men's fashion.
Which already brings us to the next year in my journey, 2018. Around February of that year, I quit university. So only after one semester of studying engineering, I was like, you know what, fuck this shit, I'm quitting university, I don't like it. And yeah, I wanted to be a fashion influencer, as I said. So I decided I'm going to focus entirely on that. And finally, at the exact same time, after quitting university, I think it was like 1 week or so after, a very good friend of mine sent me one video from a dating coach, which completely blew my mind. I was so perplexed watching that. I literally watched, I think, like 20 videos of his within 2 weeks, and what I noticed is that that guy had literally been completely shy at school as well, and was now actually dating a lot of beautiful women and didn't really seem to have the struggle of being shy anymore. Seeing his incredible transformation made me realize something huge. Change is possible. Most people think that confidence is something you either have or don't have. That is not true at all. You can become exactly the person you want to be if you put in the necessary work. What you need to remember from this learning is that change is possible if you put in the work.
I want to say thank you to this brought me to the mindset that I'm actually capable of doing anything.
So yeah, what I did is that I pretty much just started to follow his advice, which was pretty much just, here's how a confident man behaves, here's the way a confident man acts. You know what, just fake it till you make it. Act the way an alpha male acts until you actually are one. And that's pretty much what I did for the rest of the year. I started to go out like 2 to 3 times per week, usually at night, sometimes during the day even, just approaching people, just trying to improve my social and my dating life. And 2019, so the next year, was honestly more of the same. I just continued to go out a lot, try to improve that. I kept posting a lot of stuff on Instagram, but actually by then I started to actually grow on Instagram. So that's actually a big change, because that led at some point to people noticing, and that's how my agency was born back then. And fast forward to the end of 2019, by then I was, it's actually quite crazy. Like, thanks to my agency, I was actually making 10,000 euros per month. At the same time, I had actually quite some followers. I think it was around 50,000 or so at the time. And after those years of working on my looks and my fashion, I actually looked pretty good. But did any of that really improve my confidence? No, not at all. Like, the inner feeling was still the same. I'd also gone out for 2 years now, trying to improve my social life and my dating life, just basically trying again to fake it. That front was actually working a bit, but that's pretty much what it was. It was a front. The inner feeling was literally the exact same. I still felt completely insecure, and pretty much I had spent 2 full years working on the external stuff, and it was not working. It was around 2020 that everything really started to finally change. Why is that? Because I now knew from first-hand experience that none of the external stuff actually worked. It is around that time that I actually came across a concept that I really resonated with. It took a lot of time until I really understood the full concept, but that was actually my biggest learning over the past 7 years when it comes to confidence. Like, if there's one secret to confidence, honestly, it's this one. Confidence is the default state as a newborn child. When we're born, we are confident, not shy. But sadly, all of us experience traumas and conditioning during our childhood. That is when we slowly start feeling shy, insecure, and unworthy. The way to become confident is not by chasing external things like money, fame, or looks. Acting like a confident person, fake it till you make it, doesn't work either. The only way to true confidence is by healing the old wounds from our childhood. It is an internal journey, not an external one. All you need to remember here really is that confidence is the default and that the journey is an internal one and not external. If this is something that maybe you don't understand fully, that's totally fine. Like, don't worry at all at all. I have 2 videos that I already made on that topic. I'm gonna put them here on the screen. And this is pretty much what I'm going to be talking about over the next months. Just exploring this idea of how to really become confident from within. But yeah, coming back to my story, that is pretty much what I focused on for 2 years then, like 2020 and 2021. Those 2 years was nothing else than exploring my childhood, exploring my inner traumas, all the conditioning that happened. And fast forward to 2022, which is basically last year, like 1 year ago. That was like 2 years after having worked on my inner journey. I was really feeling the progress slowly. I was really like on the right track. I knew it now. It was not anymore about I'm shy, let me like fake it all the time, let me act super cool so people don't notice and just maintain the front. It was not about that anymore. Like, at that point, like 1 year ago, I was really actually at a point where I was like able to talk to people. I was able to really look someone in the eye and mostly be authentic, be real, and just tell them what I think. And I was really feeling the progress, but it felt like it wasn't fast enough. And that is when I noticed I had fell into the trap that a lot of spiritual people fall into, which is that I was not really taking action anymore that much. I was like not doing anything externally when it comes to speaking anymore. And I thought like the more I just keep meditating, at some point I'm just gonna be able to feel confident all the time. Like, I don't need to do anything externally anymore. I don't need to take action. And that was a very big mistake, which then led to my 4 biggest learning now, and the confidence system is gonna be complete now. Action is necessary. Just inner work and meditation is not enough. You have to take action and face your fears. However, the intention is not to fight those fears. Instead, the goal is to get triggered on purpose by real life events. Without taking action and getting triggered, it is very hard to really dive deep and work on the inner wounds we have. Just remember this: action is necessary and getting triggered is good. So yeah, basically, those 4 learnings combined really led to the last year, like 2022, being the most transformative for me personally, because I really took a lot of action when it comes to confidence, when it comes to like getting triggered and stuff. And that allowed me to get a lot deeper into healing those inner wounds. Instead of just sitting at home and meditating and trying to let go of the past traumas and shit, I also was taking a lot of action. And as I said before, those 4 learnings now combined are literally my system when it comes to confidence. It took me 7 years to have the system, but I have it now. And here it is again for you. You have to know for sure that becoming a confident person is possible if you put in the work. At the same time, you need to keep in mind that confidence is the default and that the journey is an internal one. Meditation, introspection, etc. and not an external one. Money, fame, looks, etc. However, taking action and facing adversity is still necessary, because without getting triggered by real life events, it is very hard to really dive deep into the inner wounds we all have. I actually have to confess something to you. I lied. What you saw in the thumbnail and on the title, that I'm now always confident, is actually not true at all. I am not fully confident in every situation. I still get triggered quite a lot. And I still experience those feelings of not being good enough, of shyness, etc. But what I've learned by now is that that's actually fully okay. And what I've come to realize now is when I look back at like 7 years ago at school, basically how I felt was always insecure and always shy and never confident. Pretty much always shy, never confident. And over the years of doing the inner work, the baseline is basically shifting, right? So what that means is not that I'm now always confident and never insecure and shy. What it means is that a lot of the time, I would actually say most of the time, I feel pretty at ease and confident when talking to people. However, that shyness and insecurity is still there sometimes. And really what this whole journey is about is not about never feeling shy. It's just about feeling more and more confident with time and less shy. And yeah, guys, again, thank you so much for listening. If this journey inspired you, I really hope that you leave a subscribe button. You leave a subscribe button. What the fuck?
Hop in the car, watch it go vroom, vroom. I told her mom that I blow soon, soon. Knew as a child back in the womb. Oh, told her step back, I need my room, room. Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I'm in a whip, so I gotta zoom. They tryna talk, they not in a room.